it's kind of a risky business when you're talking about throwing over a dozen people in a tour bus together, and when the majority of them have never met before, and they're all coming together with kind of one goal in mind, to share their own music and also collaborate with each other. But it never ceases to amaze me. In all the tours that we've done, in the 5 years that we've done it, we've had very, very little hang-ups, and to see something like that happen, to witness something like this, is just a remarkable feeling, just a really, really special thing to witness. Watching, over 4 weeks ago, the majority of the people that are on the tour that we're on right now had never come in contact with each other, had never met each other before, maybe had contacted each other over email, but had never met face to face. And everybody immediately ended up on the bus together. And for me to just kind of walk around and see people breaking off in little corners and working on each other's tunes is just a beautiful thing, an absolutely wonderful thing. And to watch these relationships develop over the course of a tour, to where not only do people come aboard as strangers and leave as friends, but in the process we're all challenging ourselves and learning more about songwriting and sharing music and singing and harmony and melody and all at once, and I've never been so inspired in my life, ever.
My name is Chuck Reagan, ladies and gentlemen. Please meet Mr. John Gunn on the fiddle right here. On the upright bass, Mr. Joe Ginsburg.
The Revival Tour is, it's this idea that Chuck Reagan came up with to have a bunch of different songwriters out collaborating on each other's songs. Everybody comes on stage at the same time, so there's no hierarchy in it. And there's these supersets at the beginning and at the end of the show where all the songwriters are playing together, and then it breaks off into solo sets where everybody plays for maybe 25, 30 minutes. And it's a really, really good time. It's exciting. You never know what you're gonna get. Every show is unique. And I've just had an amazing time out here on this tour.
Baby, I swear one day we'll get the money straight.
It's a different way of touring. It's a different way of sharing music. It's a different way of presenting a show. What's really unique about it, from a showgoer's perspective, is if they're coming to see any one of the artists that are showcased on the tour, they're going to see that artist in a completely different environment and capacity and method that they're going to play in that evening. They're going to see them in a completely different and unique way than they would ever see them on their own shows.
warned him once about her luck, put out a match with a tear. She said I was bored to death, but I was born to look you one way the hell away from here. He said, you don't look that tough to me. He leaned and lit a cigarette. How about you wait to see just what you regret? Till we get what we get.
I would describe the Revival Tour like a gig you've never been to before. It's really unique. There's a lot of people on stage at various points. We bookend the show with everyone, 5 singer-songwriters on stage plus musicians, and we each perform one of our own songs and collaborate on those. And then we have our individual solo sets, and then we bookend the show again with everybody on stage. But during our solo sets, as the tour has progressed, we've all been guesting, doing vocals or shaking a tambourine or playing a cello or whatever on each other's songs. So it's sort of like we've all become a big super band now.
All comes clear. Sounds too simple. Love is the only answer. Everything else is just a train wreck, yeah.
You know, the way this structure's set up, like, usually when you go out to a show, you're gonna see the opening band, you know, the main support band, and then the headliner. And this isn't like that at all, because, you know, all the different bands are just as important. We're all on the stages at the same time, off and on throughout the night, and it keeps it really exciting and interesting. And yeah, it's definitely a different kind of experience.
You know, what we do out here is we're constantly collaborating with each other. Some of it's scripted, some of it is just flying by the seat of our pants, and just jumping in wherever it feels right. And there's always an element of surprise. A lot of the times we never know what's going to happen.
It's a little bit like an old soul review, where you've got the idea you have a backing band and all the different artists will come out in front of the backing band. Usually it's been just John and Joe, John on fiddle and Joe on bass, and a few different artists that come. And this year was a little bit different. Jay has the entry, has his string section.
It always sounds like a devil solo in that Charlie Daniels song.
We write music, each of us are composers, and then we bring our pieces to the group and arrange and create pieces that we can play for people.
Usually we're playing stringed instruments.
Right.
I play violin, Elliot plays viola, Martin plays cello, and a big part of what we do is collaborate with people who also write songs and sing them. We all sing as well, that's part of it.
For the purposes of the Revival Tour, we're here as Jay's band, The Dead Coast, and we're kind of providing auxiliary strings for a lot of the other artists in the group sets.
I don't wanna let you down, I just wanna save you. Hey!
It's about sharing folk music that is still alive and well, and learning each other's songs and the songs of other people, and then sharing them with the audience who are liable to sing along.
Who's gonna save you? Yeah, who's gonna save you? Cause I can't replace you, and they could get by without.
This tour is more about almost like an experience even for the musicians themselves. I've never been on a tour where it's not just people coming out to a show and you've already prepared that show for them, and it's a set value of what you're going to get. They'll have it, you know, and it's their experience. And for me as a musician, what has been so incredible is that this whole tour itself has been a journey and a process for all of us, and building friendships and building experiences and becoming a different person as a result of it. And I think for all of us, I think in the entry and for myself, I know that's all been a very positive process, and that's really different.
Well, you're always learning something new. You're learning how to play music in different ways. You're learning how to add something to a song and not take away something, you know, or make sure what you're playing isn't take away from it. Capture the spirit of the artist's song. With everybody, it's different. It's a different challenge. I don't think anybody's easier to learn from than another, but you definitely, like, I feel at least like I walk away from this knowing more about music. Like, I feel like I've gotten better as a player just from being surrounded by so many different styles and ways to go about it. I think I've learned how to play songs faster, thinking about them in a different way.
I used to walk these streets with my head held high, and I'm always looking down into the ground. But I see my feet on the outbound side of the road to another town. I'm gonna tell everybody I know I'm gonna spade a road. There's a great big world out where I go, road to another town. See another city, another life, with my past behind me.
I've heard people say that they're like, where did the 3.5 hours go? It's like, it feels like an hour-long show because there are no breaks. It just keeps going, but you don't. The changes of the artists, you know, it's like Texas weather. If you don't like the weather, stick around 20 minutes, you know. And so, yeah, it's definitely different like that. And then everyone coming together as the tour progresses. We learn each other's songs. We get drunk and we jump on songs we don't know. It makes for some interesting evenings. They're all different. Yeah.
Things that don't look good.
Yeah.
From the top?
Or just from that next, or where we all come in on that seat.
Okay. So I took my troubles to a fortune teller. Things that don't look good. She said, things you know. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. And just because I laugh a lot doesn't make me a fool.
Well, you can see tears on my face from years of feeling blue. And I took my troubles to a fortune teller. Things they don't look good. And she said, Jimmy, I think you know. Well, sometimes that's just the way it goes.
My name's Dylan Gibson. I toured with Chuck on the Revival Tour in April of 2012 and currently work for a band called Tegan and Sarah, and happened to be in the same city on the same day and got to come by and say hi to the whole family. I interpret the Revival Tour as being a tour that is marketed and presented as being something more than the sum of its parts. It's always advertised as the Revival Tour, not as each solo act by themselves. You know, the Revival Tour is just as much a part of the show as each individual artist is.
Lazy drunken moon passed out in the branches. There's a bit of stars in my favorite piece of sky. But the night held still behind us, and I used that perfect moment to talk about Miami Vice's pilot episode. But it really didn't matter. We were already junkies. 15 minutes in, we were retarded with love. And they said love is like the movies, but it felt more like a cartoon with a halo of stars.
I love that it's a fully moving entity. The music never stops so much. There's always constant coming and going of different artists, which I enjoy. It was probably one of the most fun opportunities I've had as a sound engineer to be able to mix random things and bring to be able to cover all the people that Chuck brings in and involves, whether it's just someone that he's met that day on the street and has come in and do a couple songs, or get to work with artists that, you know, are outside of what I've normally mixed before.
Thank you, friends. We'd love to invite a dear friend of ours on stage, our good friend Helen Chambers. Give it up for Helen Chambers, ladies. Next week, Helen's getting into the studio to record a new record of hers, and we're all really excited about it. So. It's one of Helen's songs. We're honored to have an opportunity to play with.
I'm Helen Chambers. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I sing songs and play the guitar.
And I'm hoping that can be won. Into the night, driving forward.
I'll be honest, I'm always pretty nervous when it comes to this kind of thing. And to just be invited to play with people of that caliber, you know, Emily and Corey and Jay and Rocky and Chuck, all of them, it's a real honour. And but the thing about Revival is I came in feeling like I might be like, ooh, you know, but you just come in, everyone's equal. There's no hierarchy, there's no pecking order. Everyone just chips in, and it just dispels any worries that you might have, so it's lovely. Lovely.
The road is never ending, and our train just left the tracks. It's our never.
Every single one of these shows is different than the last, and in one form or the other. And then every one of these tours is completely different than the last, because the majority, all the time, all of the artists are constantly changing, and it's a revolving cast. It's a revolving cast of players and songwriters. So, the show that people saw in 2008 is going to be a completely different show than they're seeing this year, and same with next. So.
back home in Pompey, I was actually, Brian Fowler's one of my massive heroes, obviously, and I heard about it on his website, through his Twitter feed, because he started stuff with the Horrible Crows, and I idolised him, so I went down to see him at the Wedgwood Rooms, and it's one of the best nights of my life. I've been dying to come back every year since, so it's been absolutely class.
And since that, we've been really talking about coming back since, and it's just really big influence on us musically as well, because we're aspiring musicians, and it's just been difficult for us to try and see it. And then 2 days ago we heard about this one in Manchester, and it was just like, we need to go. We made it like the #1 priority for today.
The best thing was going to see Brian, and then seeing all the other amazing musicians that have like completely inspired me, changed my life, and it was that really that I've been dying to come back to see. Like I came tonight not knowing too many people. Obviously Chuck Reagan and Corey Brown I listen to a lot, but just absolutely unbelievable experience, absolutely amazing.
Wouldn't change anything from tonight for the world.
No.
Genuinely did change like musical perspectives, like for like a lot of things, didn't it?
Best experience I don't know why.
Yeah, I actually got this for him as a present to come here, and I think he's enjoyed it a lot. It was awesome. Trying to educate him on real music, at least that's what I said on the way up.
I think fans get it more and more each year, coming out to the show earlier, making sure they see the opening set, which is important. I think they get the show now a little bit better, so it makes it easier for us. We don't have to think about it as much. So I don't know, I think that's a large part of it. I think this year there's been more collaboration than any other year. There's been more songs played in a group format than before. And I don't know why. I think it depends on the person. It wasn't like a forced thing, like, oh, we need to play more songs with people this year than we have in the past, but it just kind of happened that way.
It's more march-like. It's more like dun 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 dun
Isn't that
dun
where Joe
dun,
comes in?
and that's when it's when Joe comes in and the strings come in. That's when you guys
should
be
be
walking in.
Yeah.
But if you're walking in before that, it's so like anticlimactic, you know. Like last night was way too early, and I think somebody was like, extended version, but I wasn't doing anything extended. Like it was just.
We just missed you. We couldn't
just
be
wanted
away
to
any
get
longer.
on that stage, man. No, but yeah, it just looks cooler if you guys kind of just keep in mind that downbeat and walk on with that, because it looks cooler. It looks like, you know, the end scene in Star Wars 1 where they walk up and get the medals.
Hey, talking about after you've done
Now I understand what you're talking about.
Is that before or after he makes out with his sister? Is that in the...
That's Jedi, dude.
That's when they're still making eyes at each other. They haven't made out yet.
I mean, we're just a big dysfunctional family of like traveling musicians and ridiculous humans, and we all have these different backgrounds and personalities, but we all kind of share this love of music, and we travel together and we get crammed into a bus together, and we're crammed into venues together, so you become family real quick. You know, a few days in, it's like you've known each other for years.
There's definitely a family vibe. And like any other family, it, you know, is merry at times.
Ha ha.
Fresh pods!
Actually, there's no one on the tour that's like I think Corey said that at the beginning. Like we're like, you're always trying to find the person who's like gonna be a dick. And on this tour, I don't know. Maybe the reason I don't know there is one is because I am the one who is.
He's not gonna notice. He's gonna be like, I sounded good tonight. Put on the disco beat.
On the tour, regardless, you know, you probably liked everyone. Who was your favorite individual?
Oh, I can't. I don't have an answer. I can tell you why I liked each person on the tour, but I can't, because at different moments, you know, when Shanaran comes and I want to go to Narnia, Jay's my favorite person. You know, when I want to go for a run and just kind of like recap my day, Emily's my favorite person. When I want to stomp around like a crazed idiot and see a little smile in the eyes beneath the beard, John Gaunt's my favorite person. You know, when I need a little bit of like energy and positivity, I need Rocky. That's my favorite guy. You know, when I want to just kind of feel at home and goofy and miss Dan Andriano a little bit, Corey's my favorite person. You know, and when I want to stay grounded and with, you know, everything I do and all that excitement, Chuck's my favorite person. And I don't really like Emery. He's kind of a jerk. Just kidding.
To me, I've noticed that a lot of the folks that are coming out to see the Revival Tour may not even be coming to see any one particular person. They've just heard about the collaborative effort, the just ever-changing cast of people that are coming on and off the stage. And it truly is a unique and a beautiful sight to see in music. And a tour like this is simply showcasing, you know, today's folk and indie acoustic songwriters and you know, some of the people who I believe are some of today's most incredible songwriters I've known. And I'm honored to just be a piece of the puzzle.
Some remain dead, but you all got to be going somewhere. Yeah, you all got to be going somewhere. Some to the ground and some to the earth, but you all got to be going somewhere. Yeah, you all got to be going somewhere. Yeah, you all got to be going somewhere. Yeah, you all got to be going somewhere.
I stop in this place, let me stress it, it ain't the cuisine. The eggs are all running, the hash browns smell funny, the coffee tastes like gasoline. But there goes the one thing that I've been looking forward to for the last 600 miles. In a slow motion pan, 8 beers in each pan, what's here of heaven in her smile. She is the prettiest waitress in Memphis, and I think she's flirting with me. Been reading them specials, extra special. Slip the finger into my sweet tea. Oh, but a small stack of singles from a hard double shift will do terrible things to a smile. And the prettiest waitress in Memphis knows she's only that way for a while.
Miss Dan? You miss Dan and
You catch on fast.
Ryan misses Dan.
You miss Dan?
You miss Dan. Who misses Dan Andriano?
You miss Dan Andriano? We miss how we miss Dan Andriano.
We miss Dan. We all miss Dan.
She said she's lived here all of 23 years.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to add is that I'm really, really happy to have worked with this crew. It's probably one of the best crews that I've worked with, and everyone's been really hardworking. And you know, dream team. It's just really, really good, and it makes my life easier to know that I've got, you know, people I can trust with, you know, to work.
I love you too, man.
I love you too.
Special, slip the finger into my sweet tea. Oh, but a small stack of singles from a hard double shift will do terrible things to a smile. And the prettiest waitress in Memphis knows she's only that way for a while.